The rich are getting richer, and they continue to get the benefits of being rich in this country, in the United States. The poor are getting poorer. They're being exploited by the way in which we do business in this country and the way government operates. The middle class, it doesn't have the advantages of the rich have and the opportunities of the rich. It also doesn't get the kinds of programs of aid of various sorts that the poor do, the very few they do. And so they're really pressured and squeezed in the middle between the rich and the poor. I think many Americans feel in principle that it's a good idea to help the needy. Yet, on the other hand, when it comes to actually paying for it, most people in our country are opposed to higher taxes. And that strong opposition has been around for a very long time and basically explains why in this country we are taxed less than in many other advanced industrialized countries, particularly social democracies in Europe. Interest groups have been around since the 60s in terms of their influence and power since the late 1960s. They've gained and increased their influence over time, and they contribute heavily to presidential and congressional campaigns, which means that the candidates and those particularly who are already holding office must listen to the needs and the demands of these interest groups if they want to run again and be successful again, particularly in raising money and winning the election. One could argue, of course, that our guarantee of freedom of speech permits interest groups to fund campaigns. The problem is that when interest groups are able to provide so much funding, and you and me are able to provide far less funding, is it possible that interest groups have a much more disproportionate share of the say in not only who's elected, but the kinds of policies that person's likely to put in place once that person's in office? Clearly, we need more campaign finance reform than we've had. We've taken some major steps and tried to clean up some of the loopholes and tried to level the playing field, but it hasn't gone far enough. I think the real answer to this is public financing of elections, where both campaigns, on perhaps a match basis, receive the kind of money that allows both of them equally, or roughly equally, we're never going to have it totally equal, but roughly equally, to wage a fair and an effective campaign for public office. It's about time that we recognize the problem and try to do something about it.